Well, welcome to Out and Back, everyone. And I'm thrilled to be able to introduce the Gore-tex team today. And what they'll be doing is introducing a new product. And anything that Gore does typically is pretty exciting, especially for people who are active outdoors people, who rely on waterproof, breathability, and windproof. And if you've ever been outdoors, and I have for many, many years, you get wet, you get cold. And if you're wet and it's cold and it's windy, things are not good. And so Gore has been a major player in the outdoor business for a long, long time, and in many other categories also. Today, I want to introduce Nora Stowell. Nora has been a long-time member of the Park City community where I live, and she has a great leadership. She's had great leadership roles in the outdoor industry. She was with Amber for quite some time, about 7 years, and she was their president of U.S. Specialty Sales, and that included some of the iconic brands in the outdoor business, Arc'teryx, Atomic, Sunto, Solomon, etc. And Nora is also a Division I skier. She at Dartmouth, a college that I could never get into. And she is an excellent, as I said, is an excellent skier and an excellent outdoors woman here in Park City. The next introduction I would like is to introduce Matt Schreiner. Now, Matt, on the other hand, is learning to surf. And I am learning also to stand-up paddleboard surf. And both of us have agreed that it is pretty ugly getting out of the break and once you get out of the break, catching the wave and those kind of things. For 25 years, Matt has been with Gore. He's been a leader in product and technology development, and he is now leading up the fabrics division in sustainability, and he's a perfect match, I think, for that, because he, on the sustainability side, he can talk about that, and then he can marry that with the technical aspects of EPE, which is what we're going to talk about today. Now, I'm talking a lot at the moment because I want to set this up. Bill Gore started and stretched a polymer in the early 1980s. And what happened there was he really discovered that he could create a waterproof and breathable fabric. And I don't want to get into that, but over the years, Gore has constantly been on the forefront of waterproof breathability and now windproof. What they're doing now is introducing a new product called EPE, which is expanded polyurethane or polyethylene. Expanded polyethylene. Now I'm going to stop right there because I really can't go much further than that. And so, Matt, could you start us with what is EPE and why is it different?
Sure, Paul, I'd be happy to do that. And EPE is a polymer that we are able to expand it in a way that similar to the way we've learned to expand PTFE, but we can expand this polymer similarly and build composites from that expanded polymer that form a Gore-tex membrane that we then combine with textiles and sell to our customers as a Gore-tex laminate. EPE is a different polymer than EPTFE. It's polyethylene. The fact that we're able to do this with polyethylene provides some additional advantages for us, particularly in the realm of sustainability, that we've not been able to achieve with PTFE. So we're adding EPE, expanded polyethylene, to our materials portfolio, our membrane portfolio, under the Gore-tex brand. So EPE will be going to market as a new innovation under the Gore-tex brand.
So are you, and this question is for Nora. Nora, is this a limited launch with certain brands? And can you tell us who those brands are that are going to get EPE?
Sure. So this fall, you'll see a number of brands launching with EPE. Arc'teryx in Patagonia will be coming out with general outdoor and snow garments, winter garments. Salomon and Adidas will be coming out with lifestyle footwear. And then glove brands like Schreiner, Reusch, and Dakine will be coming out with winter gloves. So it is limited to those partners in fall, call it 22. And you'll see us expand to more categories and more brands starting in fall, winter 2023.
So what will the consumers, and either one of you can answer this, what will the consumers feel the difference?
They will feel the difference. And one big thing on the benefit to the consumer here is that these products are engineered for a long product life, for durable performance over a long product life, but so aren't the products we've been making for the past 40 years. So what's different here is that EPE has a low carbon footprint, a lower carbon footprint measured by Higg MSI. It's also PFC free, which is a big one in our industry right now on consumers looking for PFC free products. And this is also Goretex and Bluesign approved. So a number of sustainable attributes that will come with the launch of EPE.
So what is the issue, and maybe this is for Matt, is what is the issue with PFC and why is it dangerous to the environment? What does it do to the environment?
Yeah, so great question, Paul, and I could talk for hours on that subject. It's a immensely complex area of chemistry, right? There's over 4,000 or maybe 5,000 different types of PFAS chemistry that's out there. PFAS being another acronym that's used to describe PFCs. PFCs are certain types of chemical polymeric chemistry that some elements of which have it's been discovered are creating some concerns in the environment, particularly what traditionally has been called long chain or C8 and larger chain polymers. And as this recognition has come around, our industry has moved very quickly to start to move beyond these material sets and find other alternatives. Shorter chain perfluorinated compounds, for example, always trying to find the right balance between reducing the use of these chemistries, but also trying to deliver the same level of performance that our consumers and outside enthusiasts need for protection, particularly for water repellency and durable water repellency, or so-called DWRs. 2017, Gore Fabrics Division, our consumer fabrics division, made a bold commitment to the industry that we would get out of a class of these materials that we acknowledge are meet 3 criteria that make them somewhat environmentally concerning. We refer to these as PFCs of environmental concern, and we've been working diligently to drive those changes in our product portfolio to move beyond this subset of PFAS chemistry. Our EPE product has been a part of that journey, and with the introduction of that, we're taking a significant step forward in our commitment to eliminate these from our product portfolio.
Couple of questions here. Is the PFC, is it less PFC chemicals in the EPE? And the fact is you stretch it, is it less?
Yeah, actually, Paul, in the fact that our EPE polymer does not incorporate any fluorinated material makes it completely free of any PFCs, which has been really exciting to us. We're able to deliver a level of performance using a type of chemistry that's completely free of any fluorinated materials. So that was for us a significant step forward. And we're doing that at the same time. This polymer gives us a chance to reduce our carbon footprint, does not compromise on durability for the intended use, which is really important to us and super important to our consumers because they've come to expect durable performance, as Nora said, from the Gore-tex brand. And all of our studies and those who are kind of steeped in the area of sustainability and sustainability science know and understand that the longer you can keep a product in use and extend its life, the better that is for the environment. That's really the ultimate lever that we have as a product company to impact the environmental footprint of our product, keeping in service as long as we can. And EPE does that for us.
So with EPE, the PFCs, to go back to that just for a minute, I had read that there was concerns about cancer, there was concerns about reproduction with regard to humans and those kind of things. The fact is, in the environment, I would assume it has a very long half-life. So because of all those things, I would assume that this was a big deal for Gore because polymers in the past have been damaging to the environment. Would that be correct, Nora?
That is correct. I mean, if you look at this launch is the biggest milestone that the Goretex brand has had in 40 years, to be honest. Mm-hmm. And it's also a long time in the making. We've been working on this for over 10 years. We're consistently looking at new material sets, always looking and working with new materials. And we had just started working with EPE, and then all the pressure hit the industry from Greenpeace. And we were fortunate that we were already down the road with EPE, and then we had discovered that EPE had these sustainable attributes that were super important to the consumer, but more important to the brands. So right now, consumers are voting with their dollars, and brands that are making sustainable business choices and producing products that are better for the environment are the ones that are winning in the market. And a lot of the brand partners in the industry have put goals out there: PFC free by 2025, carbon neutral by 2050, even carbon positive. And the only way they can do that and reach their goals and deliver the products that their consumers want is if material suppliers like us are innovating that material that can support those goals. And so it comes full circle to where we are in our responsible performance journey. And we use this term responsible performance, Paul, because over the past 40 years, we've been known for, testing to the gills, science-based, durable protection, and really holding our performance to a very high standard. Now, with our Goretex brand, we're looking to hold being responsible to that same standard. So we use the word responsible performance, and we don't take it lightly. And launching EPE is the next milestone with that journey.
So when I first bought Gore, embarrassingly enough, in the mid 80s, and I was skiing in the backcountry, and it was an incredible material, but it crinkled all the time, and it made a lot of noise, and those kind of things, and that has all gone away for sure. So if I'm a consumer now and I buy a new shell in 2022, and I've been used to Gore-Tex, what difference am I going to feel? Is it going to be lighter? Is it going to be quieter? I mean, what am I going to feel as a consumer?
A lot of this depends on the end product that our brand partners are producing and the face fabric materials they are choosing. But on our initial test, there is a softer hand, and there is this half the weight, half the depth in the material, and the consumer is going to feel that. And I don't know if Matt, if you have additional comments you'd like to make there.
Yeah, I mean, we have observed that EPE, because we're able to get away with, but it's engineered to use less material for an equivalent, less massive material for equivalent level of performance. That does show up in the laminate as a softer. It's a thinner layer, right? When you're building a laminate, you're putting textile layers in combination with a membrane layer. And the more you can minimize the thickness and the mass on those layers, the softer ultimately the garment can be. So yeah, we've been refining our product offering for the last 15, 20 years as consumers have expressed a desire and a need for softer garments, for garments with stretch. We've engineered our materials to deliver that. So EPE is not going to take us back or set us back on any of those dimensions. EPE is really our step forward, as Nora said, around this new sort of mantra we have, this exciting integrating theme of responsible performance. So it's really exciting for us.
What have you learned? A lot of times you're on a journey, and you've been on a journey for a long time, but now EPE, where has that taken you, and what would be your next step?
So EPE is definitely a significant step on our sustainability journey. We've been on a sustainability journey for, I would say, 30 years since we've, the Goretex brand was founded. Our founders, Bill and Vive, were, huge outdoor enthusiasts. In fact, spent a lot of time out in your neck of the woods in Utah. So they were passionate about outdoors. They were also really passionate and drove the point into our organization that our products need to not only work in these extreme conditions, they need to work for the planet. So that's always informed our product development efforts over the last 40 years. EPE is probably a major expression of that, or a further affirmation of that commitment. I think what we've learned with EPE is we need to move faster, right? Typically, with a new product innovation, we'll bring it to market with all the I's dotted and the T's crossed, and wait, maybe delay a couple of seasons until we have all that figured out. With EPE, we decided, because this commitment we've made to move out of PFCs of an environmental concern, and EPE helps advance that journey, that we want to move fast. So we've become a lot more comfortable as an organization of learning while doing. And that's a bit of a paradigm shift for us, but we're getting comfortable with that, because our customers won't wait, consumers won't wait, the market won't wait. And actually it feels really good. I think we've embraced that, and all of our product teams working on 40 plus different projects around EPE, they're moving with incredible pace and incredible excitement and enthusiasm, answering questions and learning as we go. So that, to me, is probably our biggest learning, that we can do it. And we just needed to decide that's how we wanted to do it.
Was there resistance from the old guard inside Gore?
Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Well, probably being a part of that old guard. I don't think there was resistance as much as there was a strong curiosity, and do we really need to do this? And why do we need to do this? And anytime we amass a major transformational change, like bringing another material set into a portfolio, we're going to ask those questions, and we needed to have good answers, because we've had a real long track record of success. So the question is, why do we need to do this, and why do we need to do this now? And it was, as Nora said, it was pretty straightforward. We can show evidence. This is what consumers are asking for, and this is what our customers are expecting. And being very driven by the customer experience in our approach to the market and how we inform our product strategy, it became a no-brainer for us.
Nora, this is a question for you, and you and I have not talked about this one. How are you going to work with the brands to bring this message out? Because it's such an important message with regard to sustainability, impact on the environment, improvement with regard to customer satisfaction. How are you going to work with the brands to get them to say, no, this is a very important component, and how are you going to do that?
Mm-hmm. They need to use their own words in how they market and communicate this. We can lead in with science-based information about the product attributes, what it delivers, benefits the consumer, but ultimately It's up to the customer, the brands, to use their own language. And what we've seen is some really strong messages. And I'll quote Patagonia, who has, you'll see in their print materials coming this fall, they're calling this a game changer for them and for the industry. And if you look at the targets that Yvon Chouinard has put on his team on being PFC free, to Matt's point, we need to move faster because we're already late here. So we really defer to how our brand partners speak to the benefits of this product. And we do work with them together on the messaging, but so much of it comes from them directly since they're the direct touch point to the consumer.
So as you move forward now, does this mean that Gore will be even faster on innovation into the marketplace?
We hope so. Took us 40 years. Well, we've been working with EPTFE for the past 40 years, and this is a big deal with EPE. And I think we're just the beginning of unlocking what this polymer can do and what this material can do. But we also know that we're going to need to be light on our feet on even future materials, knowing where the industry is going. And I would also say so much for it at Gore is the material we use, but it's also the value chain that we work in the supply chain. And I think that we have a lot of work to do there so we become more efficient, faster, more sustainable. And I think the industry is due for a reckoning here. I mean, we've essentially been using the same process and the same timeline, lead time in the apparel and footwear industry since we started. And that needs to change.
Yeah, and Paul, just to expand on what Nora said, what's going to enable us to continue to move fast is collaboration. Back in our supply chain, but also forward in the value chain, right, with our customers, with retailers. We are really equipping ourselves to develop collaborative tools and really embrace a lot of the collaborative tools that are out there. For example, on the environmental side, the HIG tool suite, for example, right? We are leading, as challenging as that may be at times, the adoption and the deployment of the HIG suite of tools. Third-party validation criteria, whether it's Bluesign or Goretex, or going forward for recycled textiles, the global recycling standard, right? So these tools will help facilitate and accelerate collaboration, and we see that as being essential in enabling us to move faster than we have historically been able to move. And by the way, our innovations will not only come in the form of new material sets or expanding a range of material sets. We're looking at lots of other ways, because of our unique position and know-how, to create value in our value chains for our customers and for other players in the value chain. That's what we do really well, and we're gonna continue to build on that.
One other question with regard, that is, by the way, for my audience, that is our grandfather clock that goes every 15 minutes. And yeah, and it's old school, for sure. So you had mentioned, you and Nora both mentioned HIG, and just a quick explanation. Is that an environmental benchmark, or what is HIG?
HIG is it's a industry standardized suite of tools, if you will, that allow companies and suppliers to communicate product attributes, facility attributes, process attributes in a common language and in a common scale for comparison purposes. So there's one that you can look at material footprint across a variety of different metrics, carbon being one, for example. There's one that we all would share to look at facilities and share information back and forth on our facilities in terms of their practices. But then there's also one on facilities and their social management policies. So it's really trying to drive a standardization, if you will, across our industry, so that we're talking from a common set of practices and understanding.
So last question for either one of you. I suppose this may be for Nora. is that, Channel Signal, my company, is involved in product reviews. And that is the true, one of the major voices of the consumer as buyers buy and then publish their opinions. So we're always very interested in how the Gore-tex message or the EPE message is going to be relayed at the point of sale. Let's just say brick and mortar, for instance. So Nora, are you going to be, working with the retailers, working with the brands to put together hang tags, or how are you going to hit the consumer at the point of sale with EPE?
Sure, it's a great question. And for anyone that's bought a Gore-Tex jacket knows that we have these big black diamond hang tags that say guaranteed to keep you dry. And with the launch of EPE, we've made some adjustments since we can't be just taking on a responsible performance journey in the products, but also we're being really deliberate in our hang tags and how we communicate that. So we've actually shrunk the hang tags to make it smaller. We're now making the hang tags out of soybeans, so they are more sustainable. We've also removed multiple pages and now it's just the front and back. There's a QR code that takes you to learn more about our responsible performance journey at Gore. And there's also an insert that the brands or retailers can choose to have on the hang tag that explains the exact benefits to the consumer for EPE. So there's a number of things we're doing. We used to have an event called Tromp, which started with REI, and we'd go around to the different locations and educate the green vests at the time on our products. And because of the pandemic, we've taken that virtual. And we will be doing those virtual trainings as well, getting ready for product that will show up this fall.
The QR code is, I would think, critical because over 50% of consumers consult their phone when they're in a brick and mortar. So not only would they be looking at product reviews perhaps, but they also this is a way for them to look immediately into EPE to say, what is this? And I'm sure that was the thinking.
Correct, absolutely.
Yep.
Great. Well, guys, this has been terrific. I've learned a lot and I hope my audience has too. And we look forward to winter 2022. To see EPE and to see the launch from the consumer and the distribution side of things and the brand side of things. Matt and Nora, I really appreciate you being on Out and Back, and thanks for your time and thanks again for all the information that you supplied me. It was great. And for my audience, I'll see you again next time on Out and Back.
Thanks for having us, Paul. Appreciate it.
Thank you.